All right, so we're here today to talk about natural remedies for cold and flu season. We've been having a lot of patients coming in and asking for recommendations for sicknesses and prevention options because it's kind of everywhere right now. We've been dealing with it quite frequently at the office as well as in our own homes and around the community. So we wanted to talk about what are ways that we could, one, prevent ourselves from getting sick, and then if we do have a bug kind of enter into the system, what do we do next? So that'll be what we're talking about today. First thing to address is what is the immune system and what is it supposed to do?
Yep.
So the immune system protects the body from harmful substances, things like bacteria, viruses, parasites. It also helps us repair injuries and heal any damaged cells. So we need it. It is very important to what we do. How do we take care of it? And then how do we nurture it to best do its job when we do get sick?
Right.
So where are some areas, Kari, that you like people to start in prevention measures? So when they come in and they're like, oh, sickness is everywhere. It's in my home. Everybody's sick in my house or around me at work. What do I do?
Yeah. Well, and this year has been a particularly terrible viral season. I keep hearing it so much, and the viruses seem to be longer lasting and a lot worse
Yeah.
than people have experienced before. So definitely diet first. Obviously, Jenica and I are the health coaches here at Synapse, and so that's something that we talk to people about all the time, but also we live it. We definitely practice what we preach, and diet first and foremost. So obviously, we've talked in length about what a proper diet is, fat, fiber, protein, but during these times, it's more important that you focus on phytonutrients. So antioxidants that come in fruits and vegetables. Vegetables mostly,
Yeah.
fruits, yes, but fruits that are lower fructose and with your meals only, not really as snacks. But getting those phytonutrients in is going to be giving you vitamin C, even a little bit of D, all of the things that we need to boost that immune system.
Yeah.
And water, clean water is very important. So hydration, it regulates body temperature, lubricates joints, transports nutrients, flushes out toxins, helps you not be constipated, which, it's not just you are what you eat, but you are what you don't eliminate.
Yeah.
So I think a body full of toxins is too busy. The liver gets too busy trying to deal with all the toxins, and there's so much of a buildup. So then when they do get introduced a virus, it's so much harder for them to squelch that and get over that. So, and avoiding tap water. I heard recently that in Texas, they found after water has gone through the filtration system in their city, in Houston, they still found 42 different antibiotics in the water.
Wow.
So that's frightening. I haven't checked on Minnesota. But drinking filtered, I prefer reverse osmosis. We have reverse osmosis in our house, but always adding trace minerals back in the water
Yeah.
because it removes everything.
Yeah.
Clean water, clean air. We talked about this before, having air filter in your house and airing out the house and just having fresh air and getting outside to fresh air. I know it's cold, but if we bundle up, we can do it. We can go on a brisk walk in the morning or whenever, maybe when it's mid-afternoon where it's the warmest, so getting fresh air. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah.
What are some that you have?
Good. Those are all great. So eating your vitamin and minerals like you talked about, I do encourage people to go on an anti-inflammatory diet at that time, which really the main thing of anti-inflammatory diet is going to be eating whole foods and eliminating sugar. I've had a lot of recent patients that have the flu right now or have just gotten over the flu. And it's funny because it's correlated with the same time that they've said that they went off kind of the diet a little bit. And so they will say like, oh, I had a bad day. I didn't feel very well. I had sugar or I introduced some gluten or I had, my birthday cake or whatever that was. I had a bad day. I just kind of went off a little bit, had myself a a day, and then I'm like, oh, when did the flu start? And like, oh, a couple days later. And it is kind of funny how that can correlate, and just it just has an effect on our immune system and how we can fight things. So basically, anti-inflammatory diet is going to include whole foods, and eliminate sugar. So keeping inflammation low. We do take out things like dairy and gluten for some anti-inflammatory diets that we do, but getting your food through whole foods is going to be your best bet, just like you talked about, those phytonutrients, which those are things that are going to help us resist the fungi and bacteria and viruses in our body. It literally fights them off. So drinking water, as you mentioned, is another great one. It helps us regulate our body temperature, and just adding in electrolytes or trace minerals just to get the vitamin and minerals that we need. Moving your body, so sweating. Sweating helps remove toxins from your body. It also boosts your body temperature, so you can start already fighting the infections that might be coming into your body, because a lot of the times there's a kind of started period where you have been exposed to the virus and you might not show symptoms for 3 to 5 days, and so your body is fighting it during that time. So doing things like we're talking about are great ways to prevent it from those symptoms getting really bad, and kind of severity of the illness in your body. So as soon as you get exposure to things, boosting your body temperature through saunas is a great way to help fight that infection. Getting sleep, drinking water, just like we're talking about. Moving your body also helps in the lymphatic system, which is really important to fight the infection. And it helps us balance our blood sugar. It also decreases our stress hormone, cortisol, lowers that. So moving our body can be a really great thing to help us fight anything we have or are trying to prevent from getting. And then sleep.
Yeah.
So that regulates our hormones. Literally during sleep, you are regulating your hormones. You are producing immune fighting cells. You are also boosting your cognitive function. So, and you are help stabilizing your blood sugar. So I know there's a lot of talk about metabolic health right now. I feel like that's everywhere.
Yep.
And people are asking me, what is it? What do I need to look out for with metabolic health? Is that just eating a better diet? Well, it is. That's important, but it's stabilizing and regulating your blood sugar.
Yep.
And sleep is a way of doing that. So all of these things, your body is fighting things a lot at night, and it's re-regulating, it's resetting yourself at night. So those are some things for prevention. Also kind of sprinkled in there with some things to do while you're sick. These are all really important things to do while you're sick as well.
Yes.
And thinking
Lots
about
of sleep. Yeah, and the lymphatic system doesn't move itself.
Yeah.
So it's so important to have movement. And I understand once you are ill and you need to be sleeping, but we're talking about in prevention, and then when you feel better, getting your lymph system moving. And we even have in the clinic shaker that we have people stand on, and it just shakes, or even a vibration plate. So helping move that lymphatic. And I recently got it's called Rebounder now. I don't know why they called it Rebounder now, but it's a little trampoline. Yeah. And I get on there just to move my lymphatic system. But I also find that if I eat something that's higher carbohydrate and I get on my Rebounder and I just jump for 10 minutes or even 5 minutes, it brings down that blood sugar spike.
Yes.
Really quickly. So, and like you were saying, that's going to bring down, cortisol levels and all of those things that are contributing to the imbalances in our immune system. Yeah. And gut health. So, I don't think we put enough emphasis on how important gut health is for our immune function. So if our gut's off and we've got overgrowth of opportunistic bacteria like yeast or several other microbes that like to overgrow, we really don't have a strong immune system. And so gut health is a whole nother different podcast, but keeping your gut health optimal is important through fermented foods that help our body, like the commensal bacteria, the good bacteria grow. Fermented foods like fermented cabbage, or my husband fermented onions. and kefir, or even healthier yogurt that doesn't have sugar in it.
Yes. Yep.
Kombucha. I think people think kombucha is a probiotic, but really it's a prebiotic. It's just feeding the good bacteria, so it is a good thing to have in. And having a good probiotic, I think right now is a really important time to be having a probiotic to boost gut health, and actually taking in our list of supplements to include when you are sick. We have glutamine in here, and glutamine is actually food for our immune cells, and it's a fuel source for our cells in our intestines. So this is bolstering our immune system if we're having glutamine when we're sick, but also when you're trying to heal your gut. It's a really important supplement to keep on board when we're healing the gut. So that brings me to some foods and supplements that we want to include in the diet preventatively, but especially when we're sick. So Go ahead.
Yeah. So foods and supplements to include, and some of these can even be included as preventative too. You mentioned the gut health, big thing to help build those good gut bacteria, and the lining that you talked about is bone broth. So incorporating bone broth daily is great. Sipping on that throughout the day. It's a good hydration piece, also great for fighting off different things. Garlic and onion, big ones. A lot of things that are the supplements we're even talking about. These are two foods that contain a lot of these things that are going to be antibacterial, fighting viruses, anything like that. So garlic, what I like to do is take like a garlic clove and I'll mince it, and I'll even just take a spoon of that. I'll put some Manuka honey as another supplement that I like. These are just things that you can get at a local store. If you're looking at Manuka honey, there is some variability in kind of their level and degree. They're all numbered at a certain level, but that can be a good one to kind of put around garlic and just swallow that, let it kind of sit in your throat for a little bit and do its properties, and even in your system to help fight infections. So I really lather it up in some Manuka honey with some minced garlic. That can be good. And then just incorporating garlic and onion in my recipes throughout the day.
You could even use garlic and olive oil if you warm it up and get that the oil to come out of the garlic and drop that in children's ears.
Yes.
For fighting ear infection.
Yeah,
too.
garlic drops are huge, and making your own garlic drops is even more fantastic.
Yeah.
If you're trying to even just prevent an ear infection with a cold, if you have chronic ear infections in your family, we use garlic drops just as soon as our kids get colds. Anything stuffy, that's going to create some drainage issues in aiding the body for preventing any bacteria buildup.
And the longer that
in there.
mucus just sits in those tubes because they are stuffy and their sinuses are full, that wet, warm, it's just a breeding ground for more bacteria. So if they didn't start with an ear infection, but they stay so stuffy, that creates space to more bacteria, creating an ear infection. So garlic drops in there, just preventing that is a great idea.
Yep. Yeah. So garlic, onion are good things. Manuka honey, these are just more of like supplement foods that contain a lot of supplementation things in them as the whole food form. And fish is another one. So people like to take fish oil for inflammation, which is fine too, but just incorporating some of the foods like fish for anti-inflammatory, for those healthy fats, as well as omegas. So those are kind of the food side of things. A lot of the supplements that I'm going to have Kari talk about are things that foods do contain as well, but sometimes we need that extra boost. If we're not able to eat anything, we have a stomach bug, everything's coming up, what can we take to help boost those vitamins and nutrients?
Yeah, so vitamin D. First of all, we like having vitamin D in a dropper form, in a liquid. It's oil. Should be taken usually with your meal, because it is fat soluble, but still really helpful when you are sick to get a good bolstered dose of vitamin D.
Yeah.
So we even talked about that. So our regular dose of vitamin D would be 5,000 IU, but we're doing several drops of that to get a good amount. You could even do What was your dose that you said that you had your?
Just for a few days, just because we had his vitamin D levels, I had him take around 20. Some people, do more or
20,000.
less, but we did around 20,000 just for a few days to really boost up the system, and then he comes back down to that normal number. But
And vitamin D goes
yeah.
down so much. This is why there's no coincidence that flu season starts when we don't have as much sunlight. We're not outside, and we just went through 2 holidays that add a lot of sugar and alcohol into diets. So that all pulls down the immune system. No vitamin D from the sun, and if we're not supplementing with it, it's kind of the perfect storm for a virus. So, but not being able to fight a virus, I should say.
Yep.
So vitamin C, vitamin D, also vitamin C, and a good dose of vitamin C. I mean, you could do 200 milligrams. If you're sick, you should take vitamin C to bowel tolerance, meaning take enough, take a good dose, but if you get diarrhea, obviously back off and go to the lower dose that didn't cause the diarrhea. But it can cause loose stool. So to bowel tolerance is where I like to see vitamin C. Ginseng, elderberry, really amazing things. I used to make an elderberry syrup from a kit, and I haven't made it in a couple of years, but I think that's good to have on hand during this time. Just keep it in the refrigerator, and having a little bit of it every morning is super helpful for prevention, but also when you're sick. Quercetin. I love quercetin for a lot of reasons, especially because it helps get zinc into the cells. And zinc ionophore is what it's called. So zinc blocks replication of virus, also healing and soothing in the gut lining, but zinc and quercetin work synergistically. Glutamine, we talked about being important for a fuel source for the intestinal lining. Melatonin, actually, I think people know melatonin as something to help you sleep, and our bodies produce melatonin, but it is antioxidant, and it's a very important antioxidant, and having extra melatonin when you're sick is important, and if it makes you sleepy, great. Take a nap, but it's good to have a good dose. Normally, I have people taking melatonin if they need it for sleep, 1 milligram or 2, but you can do a higher dose than even 5 to 10 if you're sick.
Yeah.
And also curcumin, turmeric, same thing. You can take it in a supplement form, but I even just get it as a spice, an organic spice, and have it like in golden milk, which is, we would do a dairy-free milk and put just turmeric in there. It's yummy, and it's anti-inflammatory in the gut and in the system. NAC, N-acetylcysteine, is very important during this time because it thins mucus. So if you've got a lot of mucus, in the sinuses, in the chest, stay on NAC, even twice a day, I think is a really helpful part of this regimen of getting better. And it helps the body make glutathione, which glutathione is our master antioxidant in our body, which is going to help pull out toxins, and really important during these times that we're sick. B vitamins in a B complex, very, very important. A lot of the systems in our body don't work properly without B vitamins. And, something also to consider is our body uses up all of these nutrients as it's trying to fight virus and fight bacteria. So it uses them. So if we're not replenishing, we're kind of running on empty. We have no raw material to help our immune system to work properly. Same with metabolism. So we need, proper nutrients for all of those systems to work.
Yeah, exactly. Just building off of that a little bit too. A lot of these things can be found in food, but when we are sick, we kind of need the extra boost. Or if we've been exposed, these are really good things to make sure that you're incorporating either supplement form or just looking up different ways that you can do that. Like Kari mentioned, how can we get turmeric in? Can we cook with it? Garlic, the onion, cooking with these things, incorporating fish versus the fish oils. And then, what should we try to limit in taking some of the things. Like I have a lot of people that are like, I'm taking Tylenol PM at night or Advil PM at night and then AM in the morning so that I can continue to still go about my day or continue doing things. And there's a lot of different things out there on taking over-the-counter medications and
For sleep.
yes, for sleep or just like illnesses in general, like not feeling well. And a lot of these things that we're saying are things that are going to help with that. So they're going to help your body, one, fight the infection quicker so that you don't experience it for as long. And sometimes medications are needed but can prolong the process. And some of these things are going to aid you in reducing the aches and pains, reducing some of the fevers. There's a lot of great herbs out there too that are involved in it. We talked about a few of those, but there are a lot of alternatives out there now and some good brands to different things that can kind of aid in supporting your body. There's been a lot more research too on fevers, what's too high, what's not, when do I need to be concerned and not. The fever is a great way to tell that your body is fighting an infection. When things linger or if there's like concerning points, right, we want you to use your best judgment on you and your body. But knowing that sometimes it does prolong the sickness process, and if we're not boosting our systems and helping it fight it, that's going to be the most important part. We kind of use those extra tools as needed.
I think people want, as soon as they have a fever or a symptom of our body fighting, our immune system, this is our immune system fighting. And, I say, let the fever burn. I mean, obviously, when we're getting into, 103, 104, like you're saying, use your best judgment on your body or your child. But if it's below that, it's there for a reason. And if we are right away taking something, ibuprofen or Tylenol to bring down that fever, like you were just saying, that really just prolongs the illness because we're not allowing our body to do what it's trying to do to fight. And so letting that fever burn as much as you can tolerate. And, when it gets up to 104, let's get some cold compresses and let's get maybe in a lukewarm bath and, get that down. And white willow bark actually is really great herb for reducing a fever that is not going to be Tylenol or ibuprofen, or I should say acetaminophen, not acetaminophen or ibuprofen, because acetaminophen lowers glutathione. So you're lowering your glutathione, and you need your glutathione to help fight this bacteria or virus. And so you're kind of working against yourself by lowering that fever with the acetaminophen. So white willow bark, now it is a derivative of, it's a salicylate. So if you have a problem with salicylate, it's not good for you. And it would be in the arena of aspirin. So if aspirin is a problem for you, white willow bark won't work. But if you want to take something that's herbal and that's more natural, that's a great way to start. And I always keep biocidin around my house. We use biocidin in the clinic a lot for opportunistic overgrowth of bacteria in the gut. But it's really it's a killer. So it will kill virus, it will kill bacteria, and if we have illness in my house and I'm not sick, I do astragalus root powder. I'll put 3 tablespoons in water twice a day when I've been exposed to something. I order it from Mountain Rose Herbs. It's in a powder form. It's not terrible. It's a little gritty, but it's okay. But I'll do biocidin, a drop in the morning, a drop at night, or 2. Recently, I was taking 2 in the morning and 2 at night just to make sure that my body I could tell something was brewing. I started with the biocidin, and it knocked it out really quickly. So, and another thing that we have on the list too, and you can talk about this, maybe you've used this more in your house. We have used it one season that we had a lot of respiratory stuff, but using a nebulizer. We ordered one from Amazon, and you can put glutathione. There is specific glutathione. We have it here in the clinic that you open and put in that saline solution that you're breathing into your lungs, and getting that glutathione straight into the lungs, really helpful for
respiratory, anything that they're starting like with any congestion or anything like that. I've also, we've nebulized some silver as well. That can be another tool for people if used properly. And some people, are able to just put that in the saline solution as well and do the same thing with the nebulizer, or it's the same thing as the
So
glutathione.
helpful.
So it is just a nice tool to have with any of these like cold type symptoms we have going on. Sometimes, I mean, it can be helpful too with any viral, bacterial stuff, just to help fight things. Where is that bacterial infection? Is it in the throat? Most things are fighting in the throat through those lymphs, and they kind of start there a lot of the time. So with any of that mucus thing, so nebulizing things can be really helpful. And cool mist humidifier is another one with any of the cold stuff, and especially during this dry season. We've had a really dry winter, and that I've helped find as a preventative measure, kind of going backwards, to help prevent the spread of illness in my house. We've been using that to keep the humidity a little bit at a good level in our home, to help, because viruses and bacterials and things like that, they can spread through the air, and it's a lot easier in dry environments. So we've had a really dry winter, and things have really come into play there. So we have a cool mist humidifier going in almost every room throughout the day. I just keep an eye on our humidity levels and make sure that that's good to go. So those are some things that we talked about for food and supplement wise. There's a lot of things though that you can also do at home to help aid in prevention and I guess in ridding any infections, detoxing at home. So remedies that you can do at home, like bodily remedies, things that you can bring into your home or buy that are also helpful.
Yeah.
And things that we do here as well. So things that we do here would be, we have an ozone detoxing sauna, can be really helpful. You can get infrared sauna in your home, or some gyms have them now. Even a steam sauna can do a little bit, can help a little bit, getting that body temperature up, getting a little bit of sweat going on to help detox. But infrared's going to do it at a cellular level. So it's just kind of an added bonus. And then our sauna here, it even gets deeper than that with having the ozone as a part of it. And then we also offer acupuncture here. Also can help with aid the body's immune system, boosting that immune system, and adjustments can be really helpful as well. Some of those things. We also have a biomat here for grounding and aiding the body in kind of aches and pains to help regulate that immune system as well. So those are some things here. We also have at our house that I found really helpful is the air purifiers, which you mentioned, so cleaning up the air in those areas. And then we do use essential oils, so some purifying essential oils that can be found. I know those have been shown to really help clean up the air and even surfaces, things like that around our home.
Yes.
So.
And even using some eucalyptus.
Yep, eucalyptus
helps
is
clear the sinuses too.
Yep.
Yes, and also I use a castor oil pack. I'll use it if I have inflammation in my stomach, in my gut, but also during those times where I know that I need help detoxing.
Yes.
And I ordered it from Queen of Thrones. You don't have to order it from there, but definitely organic, hexane-free, in a glass bottle, castor oil. And then I have a pack that's organic cotton, maybe.
Yep.
And it has a string on it, and I can just tie it around. I put it on my liver, and I just tie it around, sleep in it. Yep. You don't have to sleep in it. You can just put a heating pad on top of it, just to get that into the skin. Or you could rub castor oil just on your body. It's sticky, though, so, I like to cover it with a pack. So I like that. And dry brushing. I don't remember to do it every day.
No, I forget to do it every time. I hop in the shower and I'm like, oh no.
I forgot. And it's not comfortable to do dry brushing after the shower because the skin's kind of open, but dry brushing, soft brush, and brushing toward the heart. Yeah. So up the legs toward the heart, down the arms toward the heart, and even massaging in those lymph nodes in the areas by your armpits and your legs, behind the knees, things like that. Just getting the lymph to move, because like we said earlier, it doesn't move on its own. And Epsom salt baths.
Yes.
So helpful. Not just, I don't think people realize Epsom salt is magnesium, and it really helps with those aches and pains in the body. And it doesn't have to be a hot bath. If you need to bring your body temperature down a little bit, it can be lukewarm. But getting Epsom salt and getting magnesium just into your body quickly. That's a quick way. Or it absorbs quickly through the skin. So that's a great
Yeah.
way to get magnesium in. You don't have to stay in there forever, just a little bit of time. Yeah, I think that's kind of, and then we have teas on the, there's many teas, and I don't think we realize how powerful even drinking tea can be, herbal tea, because herbs have so much power.
Yes, absolutely. And just eating, they have so many teas out there now that even say like the throat and the gut and the immune system support. And some of them might contain some of the things we talked about, like the elderberry and cinnamon.
Turmeric, ginger.
Yeah, turmeric, ginger, all great ones, cinnamon. So those are always great, just so something warm to help warm up the body. I know a lot of people have been dealing with like the chills this time of year, and I mean, I got a phone call from my dad a couple nights ago, and he's like, it was actually 6 a.m. at that point because his medicine had wore off, but he's like, I have terrible chills. What do I do?
Oh.
Like, take some hot tea, get in a lukewarm bath, get in some Epsom salt because it really helps with aches and pains too. And within an hour, he was kind of warmed up, was able to sit down and cool off and felt better. So
Good.
we can utilize a lot of these things as tools for the toolbox, and you will find what works for you, what you can have. I know it's a lot of things. I'll open up my medicine cabinet, and it's been years and years and years of building up different things. I still don't have everything on this list. So I get that sometimes we have to reach for, things that are more convenient we can get at stores. And a lot of times it's teas, it's Epsom salts, it's just easy things that we can grab to help us, whether that's fish oils and some extra vitamin D or these little things that we do at home to help our bodies fight infection and help preventing, starting with number one, as we said, food, making sure that we're just not on an inflammatory diet. That can be our first step in just getting this whole foods. There are a lot of ways we can get these vitamin and minerals in, and
No
simple
sugar,
ways,
no
like-
seed oils, no processed foods. And when you're sick, really, no sugar.
Yeah.
No alcohol, no sugar.
Yes, two big ones.
You really don't need to be adding toxins into the body that it's trying to fight. And another thing too, while you're sick, your body is needing a lot of protein. And so if you're not eating because you don't feel good, your body's going to pull from muscles. And hopefully you've got plenty of protein for your body to use in those times. But if we don't have a healthy diet before we get sick, our body doesn't have a lot to pull from. And so those really terrible aches and pains that happen in the body sometimes are our bodies actually pulling from muscles to aid in the whole detox process. So eating healthy throughout the year matters for when you're sick. You'll be thankful that you did it. I say to myself all the time, good job, past Kari. I'm glad I thought of that.
Yes.
And one other thing that I wanted to mention too is when you go to the doctor, make sure that they are testing you before they give you an antibiotic. Look at the CBC, the white blood cell counts, monocytes, lymphocytes, all of those. Are they raised? Or a swab. If it's a virus, please don't take an antibiotic unless you know, and the doctor says, yes, there is an infection. Try to avoid antibiotics as much as you can because that's killing off all of our important bacteria in our intestines, so it's really decimating our immune system. So if you don't need antibiotics, don't take them. And there's a lot of things that we can do even in infection that fight without antibiotics. So that can be a whole nother podcast.
Yeah,
but
it really can.
Get proof.
Get
proof of it first.
Just knowing what you're fighting, and then too, like when we go in, I'm like, I just need a test to show me so I know how to best support my body or my children's body or my husband's body. I need to know what we're fighting here. So sometimes we use those tests too as just a guide. There's a lot of over testing going on for sure out there, but I use it as a tool. It's a tool for me, so I know what I'm dealing with, and we're not going blind at that point when we're showing specific symptoms. I know how to treat those things versus kind of, it could be a variety of things. Are we dealing with bacteria? Are we dealing with viral? Are we dealing with the throat, the ears, the gut? What are we dealing with?
Yeah, and then you know where to support. Do I need NAC on board? Do I need biocidin on board? And so lastly, during your recovery, some things that are helpful for us as we're getting better, it takes some time, especially with influenza. It does take some time, even neurovirus. I feel like people are having some hard time coming out of that
Yes,
too.
it has been.
Definitely supporting the gut during that time is important. But during recovery, sunshine, I know we don't have a ton right now, but getting outside and getting fresh air, getting some vitamin D, and sunshine even helps with melatonin production. It regulates cortisol levels and increases your energy output. So get out in the sun as much as you can during your recovery and get back on track with your diet. Any other tips during recovery?
No, I love it. That's an important thing. Adjustments from your way
Yes.
back to help your
Yep.
immune system kind of finish draining
Agree.
and coming back. Adjustments are our first thing that we do when we're on the tail end. I get our whole family in, get them adjusted, get the nervous system re-regulated, and all of that. So it helps with sleep then. It helps with just drainage of everything,
Yep.
and that last little fight so that we don't have a reoccurrence, because things have just been dragging out for people this year.
Yes,
And so
agree.
their adjustments really help, and then we continue with Epsom salt baths for a little bit, those kind of things. So
Great. So just keep in mind, that's not medical advice. We might not be your doctors here
Yes.
or your health coaches, but if you need help, please let us know. And stay well and
Yeah.
stay warm. So thank you for joining us with our podcast today with Beyond the Superficial.
Thank you.
That concludes today's episode of Beyond the Superficial. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more episodes. For more information, please visit our website, www.officialsynapse.com, your partners in healthy living for optimal life. We would love to hear from you on how our podcast might be impacting your life. We also want to hear what interests you. Please leave your feedback on our media page at www.officialsynapse.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.